Hey guys, hope you're having a great day today. Today's video is going to be on the series for future homemakers of America, and it's written for young brides, maybe old ones too, that have never done the, I'm going to say, the art of homemaking, because we watch a lot of videos. There's a lot of YouTube videos on here. There's a lot on, setting up your home, kind of doing things. There's a lot of materialism as well, but how do you set up your home kind of when you need like a beginner thing, like a beginner course for, there's really nothing for that. You kind of get married, you get your mindset, and you're like, I gotta have this, and all these things, and then you go, oh, I really don't need that. I don't need those things. And so for me, myself, I'm a mom of 10 kids. I've been doing this homemaking thing for almost 30 years. Has it been 30 years? It's been 30 years. Has it been 30? It's been 30 years. Been doing it for quite some time. I've done lots of trial and errors. I am not perfect, bless you, that's my dog. I have not done everything perfectly. I am learning things by trial and error. And so this series that I am doing is based off my book, Large Family Mothering. And it's just to encourage you in your days. You have to buy the book. I'll give you the book for free, link below. But it's to help you set up your home in a way that's practical, loving, and good for you and your situation. Today's video is going to be focusing on a living room or family room, whatever way you want to call it. This space holds conversation, quiet moments, movie nights, playtimes, and often the heart of the family rhythm. So let's talk about how to create a space that's cozy, functional, and peaceful without giving into the world's consent of more is better mindset. Are you ready? All right, let's start. So before you bring in your decorations or the coordinating throw pillows, stop and ask yourself, what do you want this space to feel like? Do you want it cozy, peaceful, inviting, or fresh? Everybody's going to be different. Some of you want that warm and cozy, inviting lifestyle where you can just come in, have a cup of coffee, or maybe, hey, here's a throw blanket, let's just cozy up on the couch and we'll watch a movie together. It just depends on your household and how you want to set it up. And I have moved many times in my life, and I've had to set up my living room over and over again, and it's a new zone, it's a new place, so I've had to get new things to set it up. But I know that setting it up, it doesn't need to be packed with things to make it feel lived in and loved. You know what I mean? You don't need stuff to make it feel that way. Simplicity is what allows the peace to settle in. So when you're setting up your living room and looking around, here's a couple questions to ask yourself when you're doing this. Does everything in this room have a purpose or bring you joy? Think about that. Are your seating arrangements practical and comfortable for everyone? That's something to think about when you're setting up. Can everybody access the TV? When you're sitting over here, are you able to see people? Is it going to be a practical thing, the way you set it up? And do you have flexible lighting? You might not have that in your home, but sometimes just those bright lights are good, but at nighttime having a dimmer light kind of sets the mood and the tone in your living room, and it just brings a little bit more peacefulness. I know in our mountain house, we had our regular light that was over the whole room had like the bright white light, so it was nice for filming. It just was a little bit more open and just looked nice. But then over my fireplace, I had the yellow lights, so I just turned those on at nighttime, and it just brought that cozier feeling into the living room, where it still kind of lit up the room, but it just made it a little bit cozier. So you're gonna have to ask yourself that when you're setting up your zone. And it's okay if your furniture is mismatched. There's nothing wrong with a $5 couch, $5 table, having different pieces here and there. For myself, I've been doing this for a long time, mind you, but we started out with a lot of mismatched furniture, a lot. Even we would get things, they'd be thrifted, and we even bought a few things, and just because I wanted to have something, and then it's set up, but it wasn't a very practical chair. They weren't very comfy, but I'm like, I just wanted something to look at, and then I went through all these different things, and then at the end, after a long time of having my home, I wanted something that was going to be long-lasting for our family, which we have a large family, so I wanted an extra large big couch. And so even when my kids were little, we had found one on Craigslist, and it was, this lady had a big huge couch. It was probably almost as big as the one here, and it was just huge, and she just couldn't get anybody to get rid of it, so she had it listed for really high. This was way back in the day, for like almost $1,000. And then no one, every week the price went down and down because no one picked this thing up because it was so huge. So finally at the end, it ended up being only a couple $100, because who has a vehicle? They had to go rent a moving truck to move it. We just had a big 15-passenger van. We took all the seats out. We were able to shove everything in there. We had this big, huge couch for a long, long time, but it was so nice because it was just huge. Everybody could sit on it. There was a place for everybody. That was a beautiful, beautiful thing. So think in your home when you're setting it up, is there a seat for everybody? that's a big thing to question and wonder, like, is there a place for everybody to sit down? Maybe that's going to be getting a few chairs to put around, or, you know, however that looks in your home. And there's plenty of DIY things you can do to make it look better. I have spray painted many pieces of furniture to make them match because I got them cheap. And different things I've set up over the time and over the years. And I know when I had a lot of little ones at home, like I had 10 kids. So our living room was just a couch and a TV stand to hold the TV. That was it. And a rocking chair to nurse the babies. No knickknacks, no pictures on the wall for a long time, because that was one more thing to clean. That was one more thing to take care of. So the less, the better. I know that's not like socially acceptable online, because you see all the houses made up. My house is made up now too. But when I had a lot of little ones, that was great because I didn't have to dust. Dusting was not on my list to do. Actually, we had one little banister, so I did have to run our hand across it. Most of the time the kids ran their hands, so that got dusted. But there was no dusting because there was nothing to dust. That was a very good thing. So less was better. That was a great thing. The less you have, the less you have to pick up. That's a true statement in everything. So if you want to do some little touches, like get a candle. Get a nice smelling candle for your home, whatever scents you like. I always like the vanilla, the soft, the woodsy kind of tones. Those always made the home smell good. And then for us, having a few extra blankets, you can put them in a basket. We have them in drawers here. That's kind of nice to have, so you can just kind of grab them and throw them in there. Back in the day, we didn't have storage baskets. That wasn't a thing a long time ago. So the kids just had a nice little small blanket folded at the end of their bed. So, you know, when we had a movie night, they just grabbed those little blankets, and that's what they took to the living room to watch our movies on. Now everybody has their own blanket because they are in excess and abundance now. So we take those and stick them in the drawer, and then when movie nights come, or just wake up in the morning when it's a little chilly, the kids grab their blankets to use. So having blankets are nice. I stay away from like the decorative ones for my household because I have kids still, and I realize that if you can't wash them regularly without them looking good, pointless, because they're gonna start looking ratty and yucky. So I've had to opt for practical versus like what looks appealing to the eye, because you're gonna have to wash those. If you've got to have something that's gonna sit out that no one can touch and get dirty, that's not gonna happen, not at all. So avoid the stress and just get the ones that you can wash and put away. We have pillows on our couch now, but when I first got my couch, it came with a couple pillows, and that was good. I had it all set up nice with pillows, and then after a while, it was like no one used these pillows, and they just got thrown on the floor. They were like in the way. So one day, I just took all the pillows away, and I was like, why do I need these pillows at all? So having pillows, if you don't use them, it's just one more extra thing to have. So if you do have them, get ones that you can unzip and wash. Like it's the ones they sell at the store, kind of nice. You can pay, but you have to store those if you don't use them, if they're seasonal. So if you can go on Amazon and purchase a pillow cover, you can even get the pillows on there for inexpensive, and you can use those, and you can just unzip them, throw them in the washer, put them back on. That's a good way to do it. You can also switch them out if you want to do like some decorative ones for the different holidays. That's something you can do as well. And if you're just starting out, I wouldn't worry too much about things on your wall. We moved into this house. It took a long time until I got anything for my walls, but if you want to put something simple, put a little scripture plaque on the wall, or a picture of your family, something that represents what you have for you as your family that you want to have, something to be a reminder. I used to have little scripture plaques and things in the wall, and just reminded me like, okay, when I was sitting there, I could look up and read that to be encouraged. So something simple. Don't worry about a ton of different stuff on your walls. Keep it simple when you're first starting out. I live in a real house with real people, so there is a sound machine on for the kids to continue sleeping upstairs, and there's nothing to really block that noise, so I'm very limited where I can film at to where you guys get good audio. So I'm going back to this spot. So living room, what are some practical ways to organize and go through your living room? Because this living room, it sees a lot of activity. So yes, it does. And clutter will accumulate real quick in this room. So let's say you're doing this video because you want to go through your home right now. That's great. Tuesday, we're doing a series. We're going through our entire house. Follow that one if you would. But if not, and you just want to work through your living room today, you know what? Start in your living room. Picture your living room as a clock. Anytime. Like if I'm standing right here, picture it this way as 12 o'clock. So 12 o'clock is this way. Okay, so start right here. I'm going to start on the top here. I'm going to go through this, and I'm going to see, is there anything on here that I don't need in here? Does this not bring me value? Does it not serve as something that I like in my home? And then move this way, a clockwise direction, all the way around your room until you get back to your starting point. Keep only what you love or what you use. I know we moved in here, we didn't have anything. It was very plain and very bare. It took me a long time just to get pictures on the wall, because I film every day. Everyone's like, I want to see stuff on your walls. And I'm like, yeah, but this is my house in real life, and I don't know what I want on my walls. So it took me quite some time to figure out what I want on there. And then the decorating has been a work in progress. Oh my goodness, I've been here, it's almost a year and a half, and I feel like we're still going through the way we did it. We started out with just a couple small things on there. Then I would go thrifting and I found a bunch of beachy things. And so I added a bunch more, and then I had like a ton of stuff. And now after Christmas and the holidays of decorating, we decorated with a lot of stuff. And then I came back and I'm just like, just keep it simple. Let's keep it simple with the decorating. So you're gonna have to go through and decide, what do you want? Do you want a lot of stuff everywhere? Some people do, and that's fine. Some people like less. You gotta figure out what's good for you and your home and what brings you joy. If you like to see all this stuff, keep the stuff. There's nothing wrong with it. Don't let people shame you. If you like to see the practical, and maybe you have a lot of kids and you want just the practical, keep the practical. Whatever works for your situation, your home. My home looks different now. Look back way before I vlogged, which you don't because I don't have videos of that, and there was nothing. It was very plain. My kids will watch videos of our home and they're like, wow, you just stored the basket on top of the shelf and the TV stand. I'm like, yep, that's where the diapers sat. Because the babies would pull them out of the basket all the time. It just depends on your situation. Now I have things. I like to have my shelves over here because it's something I enjoy doing as an older lady. I love looking at shelves. I love seeing all the shelves we picked up, but have that 10 years ago? Absolutely not. One more thing, one more clutter. However your home looks in your season in your life, that's what you have to decide. Having a place where you can set them out and enjoy them, that's a beautiful thing. I have a couple shelves in my kitchen, and when we first moved here, I would put out my little shark teeth that we went hunting for. Some shells we found, little things, a little knickknacks, a little flamingo, because that just brought me joy. Having that one area was good to be able to see it. And if you can't see it, what's the point of having it? I always think of things that you like. And there's people, all sorts of people, all different kinds, but I always think if you have to keep it hidden away and you don't ever see it, you never get to enjoy it. So put it out so you can enjoy it. And if you have a lot of magazines, I don't know if anybody really does. We got a couple the other day and I was like, oh wow, that's weird. They still have magazines. Go through them right away. Make it a goal to go through them every day until you're done, and cut out, I used to rip out the pages of the recipes I wanted to keep, and I put those in my household binder, my homemaking binder, which I'm gonna talk about today, and that I was able to keep, and then I would go through and use those recipes up versus having a bunch of magazines laying around. Now, if you have toys in your living room, it depends on your home and your situation. Keep a little basket that you can keep everything in. I know when we had little kids, their toys were in their bedroom in a small container, and then I had an extra shelf that was only accessible by me, but when they wanted to play blocks, they wanted to play with all the things that had tons of pieces, those would be separate. And so then I would have to pull those out. They would usually be in plastic bins, and then we'd dump them in the living room floor and we'd all play with the Legos or all play with the blocks or whatever at the same time. Or there was different times that we did Mr. Potato Head or, you know, whatever, the magnet pieces, but they were all in a box so that was a specific thing versus like everybody play with whatever you want. Then there's Legos and there's blocks and there's magnet pieces and there's train pieces and all over the place. So having designated time for those was very helpful in having that. So we didn't really have toy bins somewhere, but if you have that, maybe you just have a few, get a little bin to store those. And then game pieces are something else that we've had over the years. Nowadays they show online how to do it, which is awesome. Way back in the day, we had all our game boxes and it would take up so much space. So I took and cut, we did a lot of puzzles. That was something my kids did. So I would take our puzzles and put the puzzles in a Ziploc bag and cut out the picture of a puzzle and stick that inside the bag. And so that was how we stored everything. And so we still do that to this day with games. Some games, ones that we have that we don't really play as much, I do keep in boxes, but for the most part, like the ones that we play all the time that, you know, get worn and used because we're constantly getting them out, I put them in a Ziploc bag, any kind of pieces in there, then the game board's all stacked, the bags. It's just so much nicer and neater for storage. It cuts way down on space because it doesn't take up that much. So put all your games in Ziploc bags. We have our Clue games in a Ziploc bag. We have our Uno cards in a Ziploc bag, and the board games would keep out separately. So just a way to keep them all nice and contained and then we organize them in the drawer of our TV stand upstairs. If you have bookshelves, I don't know if anybody has any bookshelves, but go through, make sure you dust those regularly. And you know what? Go through those books. Go through those books and see, is this something I want to keep or something I don't want to keep? Some people love reading. They love having libraries of books. That's great. If that brings you happiness, you do that. But if not, pass them along to somebody else that can enjoy them. And then make sure you dust them. Dust that area because that's going to sit for quite some time and probably doesn't get used as much. So make sure you go through and regularly dust the bookshelf. And your cleaning routine in your living room, now, it depends on how much you're in your living room for your house. So for us, vacuuming our floors a couple times a week is sufficient for us. If you have a lot of babies and things that you have to worry about, maybe you have to do it every day. I don't know. Whatever your situation is, you're going to have to decide what's best. But keeping the floors vacuumed, you know, cleaned up, you have to mop it. Again, if you have babies on the floor, you might want to consider cleaning it every day. But if you don't, maybe once or twice a week is sufficient. And then also make sure that you move your furniture out every so often. Usually, for me, it's like once a month. We'll pull our furniture out and we'll clean underneath it because it does get very dirty dirty underneath there. And then also put in a weekly dusting reminder, going through and dusting things off in there. And then if you have to refreshen the furniture by cleaning it, make sure you do that every few months in your home. Based on how much traffic, how much dirt, and if you have pets, things like that, is going to be the amount of time that you need to carpet clean with the carpet cleaner, the fabric upholstery cleaner, I think they call it now, and clean that off as well. Your home doesn't have to be spotless to be loved, not at all. But a little consistency goes a long way in creating peace. I've been in many homes that had stuff everywhere because mom was busy in the throes of taking care of kids and that, but you know what? Their living room still felt peaceful because it was still kind of picked up the daily things, still went through. You can see the kids' toys, that kind of stuff. You can look past that, but just having a regular clean, that's a good thing to do. So one of the biggest things that homemakers, even myself, fall into is comparison. Don't let comparison. Comparison is the thief to joy. And we will go through Pinterest, we'll go through social media, and we'll see these perfectly manicured homes. Everything lined up so well, and most of it is not the truth of how a real home looks. We don't ever see the mess behind the camera. Like right now, if I turn around, I'd show you the baskets sitting on my couch, the bedding that didn't get put away that's put on the ottoman in my living room. So remember, it can hide things as well. People are selective with the way they put their cameras, so that's why I'm here and just over there, because the rest is a little messy today. But you know what? Eventually today, that's going to get cleaned up, because that is somebody's job to make sure that stuff's folded and put away. So I'm not worried about that later. It just hasn't happened yet in my day. And remember to look through budget-friendly decorating ideas in your home. That's something you can do. Your couch, maybe you didn't get a brand new couch. Well, you know, look at getting a couch cover for it. That's a good way to improve your couch without spending a lot of money. That's a simple way. Furniture, you can spray paint a whole lot of things. Trust me, I picked up a table for our old house in the mountains for the basement, and it was a coffee table. It was a heavy coffee table. It was cheap because it was ugly. Well, you know what I did? I spray painted it to match my TV stand, and then I got pieces of, there was like tile is what was on top of it. I just went and got tile that matched my TV stand and put that on there, and that coffee table was sturdy and good, but it was a thrifted item that we had spray painted, and that worked great for the needs in that home. And then look at decorations. We did a lot of thrifting here. This is thrifted. And look at, you know, a lot of stores like Hobby Lobby, things like that will be a whole lot cheaper too. But if you can go through and find things inexpensive, that's a good thing, just waiting. I know we did a lot of thrifting going to stores. I didn't have everything the first day, but as I slowly went, I picked up little beachy themed things here and there because we came from the mountains. So we didn't have a lot of beachy stuff. But now that I've been here over a year and a half, it's like I'm finding little things here and there to decorate with. So take your time. Don't worry about doing it all at once. Sometimes you might find something online and go, oh, that's cute. I want to do that for my home. So get some ideas, and you can do something simple in your home that doesn't cost a lot of money. And remember, for any kind of curtains or anything, keep things that are simple and easy to take care of. Yes, simple and easy, especially when you have kids. We had blinds. This was before they have all the newfangled blinds now they have now, but we had those, you know, the regular blinds, because we had to have something in the window. And you know what? Those kids would constantly touch the side. They would all break off. I had those taped down all the time, and I'm like, oh my goodness. But curtains weren't practical, and then it was like over time we were able to get some curtains to put up to have privacy. But nowadays there's so many different options that you can do to have a little privacy in your home. But just think practical. The blinds, see, have something that is pushed up so it's out of the way, nobody touches it. Those sticks that hang down, watch out, because those kids will get those and use those as weapons in the house. I know they do. And if you do use curtains, do something you can take down and wash, something that's going to be simple for your home. And you can use baskets to hide clutter in there. Think if you can find furniture that holds and hides things, that's a good thing. I think they even have a couch, probably a little bit more, living room couch that opens up and there's storage all in the seats. I'm like, that's a genius thing. If you have a lot of stuff in your living room. For me, I don't have that much stuff in my living room to hide or to put away. So we just keep it simple. We have our couch in here. I have added a table on one side so that when somebody wants to bring their drink in here, they can put it on there. And then we have pillows and we have blankets. That's it. We have our shelves, which have our TV and our little remotes on it. That's it for our living room. I would like to get, like, one day we have a huge ottoman. I'd like to get like a tray to go on it, but they're like a couple $100 for the size I need. And so something simple to go on there would be great to be able to store drinks and things on when you're in the living room. But in time, not worried about that. It's like, don't worry about stressing about things, just wait in time. Things usually end up showing up over the years when you least expect it. Remember, when you're shopping for like things to go into your living room, don't just always shop for trends. It's very easy. I know, I get wrapped up in it too. I have bought many things when we moved in here for this home, and just because I felt like I needed to have some. I even succumbed to pressure, and I'm old, of like, you gotta have decorations, you gotta have this. So I just bought something, and now I'm like, now that I've been here and I feel like I'm able to relax a little bit. I'm able to enjoy my home. I'm like, oh, I don't even like that. That's not even a practical thing. So remember that. Think what is going to be good for you. If there's something you really like, then get it. There's many things that I bought where I'm like, I love that. I absolutely love that. There's something I found at Goodwill, and it was a Thanksgiving. It used to go on top of a candle, like a Yankee candle. I think it was like a lampshade, but it looks like a cute little decorative fall thing. It's got old-fashioned stuff, and I love it. And I saw that, and I was like, I love looking at that old-fashioned thing. And so I got it. It was a few bucks, and I like putting it on Thanksgiving because it has the old-fashioned cooking, all the pictures on it. It doesn't go on a candle. It just sits on the kitchen counter, and I love to look at it. So, but there's things that I purchased that I'm like, wow, I don't even use that. I'm like, we had a TV stand, for example, upstairs in the living room, and I felt like I had to buy something to put on it. So I bought these vases that are really not practical. We don't really do a lot with them. They just kind of sit there, and I'm like, I don't even like those. And so they're there for now until I see what I really want to put on there. So try to avoid the pressure of like, I gotta have something just to fill that space. Wait until you go to the store and you find something and go, okay, I like that. When you see it, you'll know it and you'll put it out. I promise. So as always with these videos, I'm going to give you a ton of freebies for you to download and to be able to look through and use. And down below is going to be a 7-day mini devotional, Homemaking with Purpose, just to kind of go through for yourself, to give you a little bit of things to think about, things to, maybe wonder if you should do that in your home. And then also I'm going to give you the chapter to my book, Large Family Mothering, for my living room. It's short because there wasn't a lot in my living room, but I wrote this book years ago when I had a lot of little kids at home, and it was just different tips to help other mamas out there that are going to go through things to kind of help in their home. It's by no way any perfect example of anything. No, it's just a simple thing that I did over the years that have helped me. And then I'm also going to give you how to set up a homemaking binder. Do you have a homemaking binder? Do you know what a homemaking binder is? Are these old school? I don't know. Well, back when I was a young bride, back in my day, nowadays everything is digital. So I don't know if people still do this, but I still believe in, like, I know my girls, they do things like a hope chest. Now my older ones had like an official hope chest, and they stored up things and put it in there before they were married. That's a good thing. My new kids have plastic bins that they store their things in, and to set up for their future, but it's just different, but it's the same kind of thought of like setting things up for their home, getting things they love before they move out on their own. And so that's a good thing to do, setting up a hope chest. That's a beautiful thing. Just getting things that you love that you can work on as you're preparing for your future home. But a homemaker binder is something that you can do, and I'll give an example of how I set mine up. Is I just got a little 3-ring binder. I just did the small one that's about this big. I think it's 1.5 inches. And inside of it, I would do different sections. I'm going to give you a whole how to set one up below. It's all free. You can go get it. And then you can get a bunch of pages you can print off, different ideas, different things that you can add to it just to help you in your journey. So in your homemaking binder, you're going to have different sections. It gives you different ideas of different things you can have. So for mine was recipes. And so in mine, I would get a lot of magazines, and I would be nursing a baby. So I'd sit there and I'd flip through my magazine and I'd see different recipes because they all look amazing. So I think, okay, is this something I really am going to do? Does it have a ton of things I have to buy at the store, or is it something practical I can make? Okay, practical. So I ripped that recipe out and I set it in a pile. When I was done nursing, I'd go through my book, the magazine was done. And then my kids used the magazine to cut up for practice, and they cut out pictures, so it never went to waste. But then my one with the recipes, I would take that to my binder, and I had plastic sleeves, and I put those in there. So then I also, in my binder, I would have a section for meals that we made. So I had different chicken meals, and maybe I had recipes back in the day in there, and then beef ones, and different ones that we would make. And then when I would set up and do my grocery list, I'd plan my menu for the month, I did some of our staples, but I also would make a note to grab a couple new recipes from my little sleeve. And we would incorporate that into the meals. And so that way, we tried them, and if we liked them, they were added to the rotation. If we didn't, I just threw them away and didn't think anything more of it. So setting up a homemaker binder is a fun thing to do. You can also have a place for simple first aid in there. You can also have a place for your budget in there. There's also just like your emergency contact numbers, household warranties, maybe a list of things like your cleaning schedule. That's where I stored mine as well. Your daily, weekly, monthly, and annual cleaning schedule, because you can go through that. We're doing it on Tuesday. You can figure out how to do that. You can print those all off and get that set up so you can do your home and have a place where it's all at. So I would go and print all mine off. Like, I'd set up my schedules, print them off, and put them inside plastic sleeves. You can get a box of plastic sleeves for real cheap. Dollar Store even has them. And then put them inside there. And that was a great way. So then I know for me, the way I set up, this was my cleaning schedule. I would set it up, and every day I had my daily work, so I already knew what I'd do in my head. But on Monday, I would do something different than Tuesday and Wednesday, Thursday, and so forth. So every morning I'd go out and take out my Monday. And then I would have that sitting out, and it had my, I put on a clipboard I had on the wall, and on that clipboard I would have Monday, and it would tell me what I was going to be doing for the day, like as far as cleaning, or actually maybe it was my baking day. So then I would know that I'd bake, but then I also had my little cleaning schedule on that I had to do. So that was what I had, and then at the end of the day, I'd put that back in my binder and get out the next day, the next morning. So a binder is just a place you can put everything for your home, everything home in one area. It's just a nice little organized tool. So I'm going to give you a link below how to set that up. It's free, it's easy, you can do it. It's just a fun little thing. It's even got Homemaker journal pages you can put in there, just things you'll be able to look back on later in life. I know I wish I would have wrote down a whole lot more than I did in my earlier days. I didn't really start vlogging and blogging until later on, but that's okay. My youngest was, I think, one or two. I think he was about 1 when I started doing that, maybe a little bit younger, about 1, just because life, I could do that then. So if I would have had a place to keep that and I would have kept that, that would have been an awesome thing. So setting up a homemaking journal, all linked below for free. So if you are a new bride setting up your living room, congratulations. And the key to remember is take your time. Walk through your space. Imagine where you're going to have your conversations at, where your husband's going to stretch out at night, where your little ones are going to curl up with a book. If you're in the thick of motherhood like I am, or maybe even beyond, know that that space doesn't remain perfect. It doesn't. It gets messy every single day. But it's becoming a backdrop for memories, for laughter, for tears, and for real life. Your living room does not need to impress the world. It needs to welcome your people. Keep it clean enough to be peaceful, simple enough to be restful, and warm enough to be lived in. So this week, if you're an experienced homemaker and you've been doing this for a while, I want you to take 30 minutes this week, and I want you to sit in your living room, and I want you to look around. I want you to look at everything in your living room and think, is this practical? Do I need to keep this? Does this need to be here? Do I need to change something? Do I need to change the way the setup is in here? Look around and see if there's anything that you can change in your living room. And remember, homemaking is a calling, not a competition. And I am proud of you, so keep going. Keep it simple and keep your heart set on what really matters. So thank you for spending this time with me. Until next time, take care and keep homemaking with joy. All right, I'll see ya. Bye.